Hey guys, what's up? Zyflin here, and in today's video we're going to be talking about how you can go about killing your first Sister of Parvos in Warframe. Like the video, subscribe for more Warframe content, and check out the Patreon for early access to all of my videos, and let's move on with this video. So before you can kill your first Sister of Parvos, you need to have completed both the War of Ving quest and also the Call of Tempestari quest. So if you haven't got those quests completed, you want to go and do those right now, because without them, you're not going to be able to spawn in the candidate to spawn in your sister. So we're basically hard stuck until we get those done. The other things that I recommend you guys go ahead and do before challenging your first sister is to play a few arbitrations. Now, arbitrations are unlocked by completing all of the missions on the star chart. They're basically just harder endurance missions where these little drones spawn in, which can drop Vitus Essence. Once you have enough Vitus Essence, you can go over to the arbitrations vendor that can be found in any relay in the Arbiters of Hex's Syndicate room, and you can buy galvanized mods from there. Now, you're going to get a lot of endo from arbitration, so you can use that endo to rank up those galvanized mods. On top of that, you should have completed the sacrifice quest. So this is going to give you some really nice mods: Umbral Intensify, Umbral Vitality, and Sacrificial Pressure and Steel. You can rank those mods up as well with the endo that you're getting from arbitrations, and they're going to help out a lot too. The last thing that I want you guys to go ahead and do before challenging your first sister is to get yourself either a Kuva Brahma or Kuva Zar, and also a Kuva Nukor, for the simple fact that Kuva Liches are easier to kill compared to sisters. Sisters have some nasty damage reduction built into them, and the weapons that you get from the Liches just make killing the sisters a lot easier, right? So get the Lich weapons before getting the sister weapons, and the reason that I'm talking about like doing one before the other is simple because sisters are more or less just the corpus equivalent of Liches, right? So for the loadout, we're going to be using Banshee because Banshee is a very easy to obtain Warframe. She's very easy to build, and on top of that, like, you know, she is just one of the best damage buffing frames in the game, right? So on this build, we're running a lot of power strength, 234%. We're getting that with Transient Fortitude, Augur Secrets, and Umbral Intensify. Combined with Umbral Vitality, these two mods are going to buff one another up. Continuity to counteract the negative duration on Transient. Ruling Guards so we can rule and become invulnerable. Streamline for efficiency. Resonance is a nice quality of life mod, but you can swap this out for the likes of Constitution or Augur Message if you don't want to run this, or even Adaptation if you're struggling to stay alive. And then we have Cruise Projection here in the aura. You can throw anything in here. And of course, if you have Arcanes like Fire Rate Arcanes or Attack Speed Arcanes, stuff like that, you can go ahead and throw those on as well. Moving on to the Kuva Zar, we've got a corrosive and cool build on here. So we're running Serration for damage, Galvanized Chamber for multi-shot, Vital Sense for crit damage, Being of Corpus for a multiplicative damage buff, Crit Delay for more critical chance, Infect Eclipse and Stormbringer for the corrosive, the Cryo Rinse for cooled, Vigilante Supplies. Now this is very important to run because this is going to help you sustain your ammo, right? We don't have Arcane equipped here, right? So usually you'd be running the likes of Primary Merciless, and the passive of Primary Merciless is 100% ammo maximum buff, right? And that is basically just going to give you more ammo in your Kuva Zar, right? Which is why if you're watching like some videos, you'll see that, you know, the people who are running the Zar just have way more ammo. On top of that, Primary Merciless basically acts like Serration, so it allows you to replace Serration. You pick this up from Steel Path. I'm just assuming that because you're watching like a first sister video, you don't have this, but if you do have it, go ahead and throw it on and make a better build than what I'm showing. I'm basically just showing you guys the bare minimum for Banshee, the Zar / Brahma, and also the Kuva Nukor and Zorus, right? So that is the Zar build that I'd recommend running as a newer player. Moving on to the Kuva Nukor, we've got a build that looks a little bit like this, right? So Hornet Strike for damage, Galvanized Shot for more status chance and more damage to the enemies that we're applying status effects to. Prime Target Cracker. Now, this might seem like a weird choice to begin with because we only have 7% critical chance, but trust me, whenever you do eventually land a crit hit, the damage is buffed up so much that it's worth it. It's a 10.5 times multiplier, so it's very nice. Pathogen Rounds and Pistol Pestilence for toxin damage because we're playing against Corpus, remember, and they're weak to toxin. Galvanized Diffusion for multi-shot, Anemic Agility for fire rate and negative damage, Lethal Torque for more fire rate and multi-shot, then Eject Magazine to reload whenever we holster the Kuvan Unicorn, which is very, very, very nice. And remember, you can use this for priming as well. We only have 3 elements on here, so it's not that great, but it's still nice if you're not using the Zorus melee weapon, which I'm about to show you. And again, if you're running this here build, you want to be running Secondary Merciless because this is a damage dealing build, right? So it's worth throwing that there on over the likes of Secondary Dexterity, which is more for a primer build, which looks a little bit like this, right? So moving on to the Zorus, we have Amalgam Organ Shatter for crit damage, Spike Corpus for multiplicative, Volatile Quick Return to eliminate the bounces and just make the boom boom faster, Sacrificial Steel for crit chance, Sacrificial Pressure for melee damage, these two buff one another up, Corrupt Charge for initial combo, Spoiled Strike for 100 damage, and then Killing Blow for even more damage, right? So this is going to be the mod that actually increases your wind-up speed on your heavy attacks. So with the Zorus, we're holding E and then we're pressing middle mouse button to make it go boom, and that way we're killing as many enemies as possible with the explosion that we're forcing with the Zorus. So with all those builds out of the way, we can go ahead and start talking about how we actually go about spawning in our first sister, right? So come up to navigation over here. And the mission that we're going to be doing is actually on Pluto. It is the capture mission called Hydra. Now, it's a spy right now because my syndicate's fixed over it. But it's the capture mission on Pluto. And essentially what we're looking for here is a enemy called a treasurer to spawn in, right? So he can take up to 5 minutes to spawn in. And upon killing him, he's going to drop a coin, a Zenith Granum coin. And what you do with this is you take that coin to one of the golden hands that spawns in on this tile set, and you do the final version of it, right? So you spend that Zenith Granum crown to go into the nightmare version, and you're using the Zorus to kill the enemies in there. Remember, hold down E, use middle mouse button to make it explode, and that is going to make the Granum Void portion of it really, really, really easy. You only need to get 25 kills. If you haven't got like the parts for all the weapons that are dropped from the Granum Void, you might want to consider, you know, getting the 75 or whatever rotation it is that you need to get that extra stuff. But it's totally down to you. If you just want to speed run it, get 25 kills, wait for the timer to run out, and then back out of that. Then what's going to happen is your sister or your candidate is going to spawn in, knock them into the down but not out state, see what weapon it is above their head, and then if it's the one that you want, stab them. If it's not the one that you want, pause the game, quit out of the mission, and then run it again. Same process, and that is pretty much it. Make sure to be running a Warframe to get the element that you want, right? So if you want Toxin, run somebody like Saren, Korra, Atlas. If you want Magnetic, run somebody like Mesa or Mag. That is pretty much it. And then once you have your sister, it is more or less just the same deal as your Cubaliches. So this is the one that I've got right here. It's an electric sister. I accidentally got an electric one because I was using Banshee for it, but that's okay because I got the Ephemera, which is something that I didn't have yet. So it's more or less the same as Cubaliches. We are going into the missions that the sister holds territory of, right? So for example, V Prime here, and then in this mission is going to be a Hound, right? Now we have to knock the Hound out, finish him off with our Parazon, and that is going to make progress towards our Murmur, so we can find out which Requiem mods we have to equip to our Parazon to kill our sister. And you're going to notice the difference between the Cubaliches and also the sisters, whatever they spawn in, like the amount of damage that they can soak up, and the same with the Frals versus the Hounds that are going to spawn in, right? The Hounds take far more damage than the Frals. They're a lot harder to kill because they have massive shields, right? So I'm just going to go ahead, jump in, and show you guys some footage of me killing some of the Hounds. All right, so here is our first Hound, and I'm using the Kuvan Unicorn to just melt the shields. And once the shield's gone, he's pretty much an easy kill. You can use either the Kuvazar or the Zorus to just go ahead and finish them off, right? So that was pretty easy, but of course, the higher level they are, the more difficult they are to kill. So you want to keep that there in mind. But these builds that I've showed you guys, they are insanely strong for just killing these Corpus enemies, right? Like, these missions should be very easy peasy for you, but of course it does require like a lot of setup. Don't worry too much if you haven't got all of the mods maxed out, by the way. Like, I've seen a lot of people in the comment section saying like, hey, I would love to run these builds, but you know, I don't have all these mods maxed out and stuff like that. Don't worry too much, because those mods that you're throwing on, if you're just following the these videos to a T more or less, even if they're not maxed out, you're still getting like damage buffs and stuff like that from the galvanized mods and stuff. You know, it might be worth running you know, the regular version of the mods in some cases if you haven't got it maxed out or ranked up to a certain point. But it's really down to you, right? Like what I recommend newer players doing nowadays is what's it called, actually rushing for the galvanized mods, because some of the other mods or the like normal equivalents can be sort of hard to get to drop in some cases, right? If you take Borrow the Fusion, for example, you know, I most consistently get that from the Gristak free, and you know, sometimes they can be a pain to get the spawn in. But you just seen right there that we just killed that Hound extremely fast. We casted sonar and we just used our Kuman core to hit the weak point, and that was pretty much it. You know, it was GG for the Hound. So basically you just keep on running these missions until you find out the what's it called, the free Parazon mods that you need. And the same rules apply whenever it comes to stabbing your sister, right? If you stab your sister and you get it wrong, she's going to change planet and she's going to level up, right? So you want to avoid getting it wrong. The less you get it wrong and the less time she hops from planet to planet, the lower level she's going to be, right? And the easier she's going to be able to kill whenever you get into Real Jack. So I'm just going to cut until I find out what my first Parazon mod is. All right, so my sister actually just spawned in, and because I just want to like really show off how good the builds are that I showed you guys, I'm just going to go ahead and kill the sister so I can get this done a little bit faster after I kill this Hound, of course. So I'm going to go ahead and cast my silence here because I see there's a lot of enemies around. The sister's already dead. Unfortunately, the mod that I have equipped to my Parazon was wrong, so she does that cool finisher animation on me, but she goes off to another planet. I get basically another quarter of my progress towards the next mod that I need to find out. So in my opinion, that was kind of worth it because of the amount of time that that's going to save. But of course, it's down to you whether or not you want to stab her and level her up. It's down to like how confident you are whenever it comes to taking her down later on and stuff like that. But yeah, that was pretty good. We know that I think it's Jahu that I've got equipped in the first one. We know that Jahu isn't in the first slot at least. So yeah, I'm gonna cut until I've figured out the second mod actually. So for a little bit more context on the Parazon, we stabbed my first sister with the Jahu mod equipped and it was wrong. So basically what I did is I checked to see which Requiem it was that I actually figured out, or which Requiem mod it was. It was fast, so I just went ahead and I put fast into my number 1 slot. So the next time that I stab my sister, there is potential there for me to actually figure out, you know, if the first slot is fast, and then that'll be awesome. If it's not, it'll just tell me it's wrong, and then that'll signal to me that I just have to swap this into the second or third slot for it to be into the right slot. But we still have to find out what is in the first slot first, right? If you've been playing Kuliches and Sisters, there is a chance for you to have gotten a mod called Ul, and essentially this is like a wild card. You can put this in any of the slots and it will always be right 110% of the time. It's not actually one of the correct mods, so to speak. It's just one of those fill in the blank for me, I only want to figure out 2 type of mod. So that's there. If you've had it, you can just throw that on any of the slots and drastically decrease the amount of time that it's going to take you to figure out, you know, what all of the free mods are. So with all that being said, I'm going to go ahead, figure out what the second mod is, and make some more progress. All right, so my sister literally just spawned in again, which is actually, it feels good, man. So I just get to go ahead, down her, stab her, and we get to see if fast is the correct mod in slot number 1, and it's not. That is it feels bad, man. I'm just gonna get thrown into the air, make a lot of progress on the murmur, and yeah, I just gotta keep going. All right, so I figured out the next Parazon mod, and it's Zada. So what I did is I put Zada where fast was. Okay, so hopefully if Zada is the first mod and fast isn't the second mod, next time I stab my sister, it will actually send her to the Real Jack portion. But there's the potential that Zada isn't actually the first slot and it's the second slot, and you know, that'll just sort of mess me up. So anything could happen, really. It's just a matter of trial and error. Who knows, by the time that I get the order correct, I could have found out what the third mod is. So we're just gonna go ahead, wait and see. But I'm gonna jump into the mission and try to get my sister to spawn. Okay, my sister has spawned in. Very good. Time to try and stab and see if we got it right. She is downed. Okay, is the right one in the first slot? And then of course we have the ult in the second. So hopefully, Moma's the third or fast. It is. Feels good, man. So we just sent our sister to Realjack without actually having to figure out what the final Parazon mod was. So that feels good, man. If you haven't got the ult mod, of course you're gonna have to what's it called? Figure out what the third mod is and actually get the order right. But because I had that ult mod, well, I was able to just skip that. And fun fact, if you find out, you know, the free mods that you have got equipped are the correct one, you can just go ahead, back out of the mission that you're playing, and she's gonna be in Realjack. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to the dojo and show you guys the Realjack setup that I've got, and then we're gonna go and kill my sister. That sounds weird with no context. Okay, so here we are in my dry dock. I am running a Viter shield array, Lavin engines, a Viter plating, a Viter reactor, all mark free. Zekti Votar, Zekti Pulsar, and Taicho Seeker mark free. Again, all mark free. And then for the Plexus, I'm running Radar Matrix, Ion Burn, Conic Nozzle, Ford Artillery, Artillery Cheap Shot, Ordnance Cheap Shot, Crimson Fugu, Hyper Strike, Cruising Speed. In the battle stuff, we've got Blackout Pulse, Shatter Burst, Seeker Volley, and a tactical, we've got Form Up, Battle Stations, and Flow Burn. I've got more information about all of this stuff in my ultimate Realjack build video, so you guys can go ahead and check that out. But I've got my intrinsics maxed out. You only need to get at least one of them to 5, I believe. These are my crew members. One is a pilot, one is a gunner, and one is a repairman. And then this is just my customization. Again, like I said, you can check out more info on my Realjack build and stuff like that in that ultimate Realjack build video. But without further ado, let's jump into Realjack and kill this sister. All right, so the Realjack mission to kill your sister is actually easy enough. You just have to do whatever objective it is. So we gotta destroy 2 cruise ships and destroy these security nodes. So what I like to do is I just send my artillery, so the middle mouse button, towards the security node, like so, and then that'll just one-shot it. And then I look around for the cruise ship. There's one there. So I get up close to this. I use all of my abilities. So I just get behind it. And then if you destroy the engines, that'll just keep it in the one spot. Get over to my big boom boom cannon over here. And hopefully my pilot won't zip me away, because it takes a little while to charge. That's the thing with the pilot. Sometimes the pilot trolls and moves your Realjack ship away. But thankfully we killed the cruise ship before she could even get to the what's it called, the controls, which is very nice. But we're looking around for the next cruise ship, which is way over here. It's always the big triangle. Or the big triangle. What type of triangle is that, Flynn? Come on, bro. I'm just gonna go ahead and give myself some energy. There we go. Just go ahead, use your abilities on it. Slow it down a little bit. Very nice, very nice. Go with your big boom boom. And we hold the left click button, like so. Remember, please don't troll. There you go. Awesome. Okay, that didn't kill it for some reason. Or it did. It did. Very nice. It just took a while to explode. Epic. I don't think I've seen damage numbers there. Maybe I'm just blind. But yeah, no, we just go ahead and we can jump into Arcwing, or we can drive our Realjack up close to the big ship. Doesn't really matter. Just gonna go ahead, go into Arcwing. And that's just kind of like a speedrunny Realjack build, right? Like, I've seen a lot of criticism on my ultimate Realjack build video being like, how do you survive in Realjack? Like, you have so little health and yada yada. It's like, everything's just dead, man. I don't need any health, you know? It's like I go zim, everything dies, and that's it. That's the build. It's a very, very good Realjack setup. So yeah, you want to be avoiding the bad guys here. Just dash through, give yourself some energy with energizing dash if you've got it. Magus Elevate to restore your health. Magus Lockdown to CC some bad guys if you got it. Elevates from Uncle, and Lockdowns from Little Duck. So yeah, there's the sister if you want that close up. So go in here, use silence, cast your 2 to stun all the enemies. I want to use the Cuban Yokor because I've been finding that very consistent. Very nice. Another thing is with the Kubazar, you can use handspring or prime sure footed, so you avoid the knockdown from it as well. I forgot to mention that at the beginning of the video. I haven't got it equipped right now. I just, you know from first-person shooter experience to not shoot my feet, right? Like, I've trained myself to not shoot my feet that often, but There we go. There's all the hounds dead. You got to kill all the hounds first. And then we go and we chase down the sister. Gonna recast my silence. And then try to hit the weak spot on the sister. She's level 3 right now, so she is actually pretty weak. But we need to try to hit this this weak spot. Gotta swap to the Parazon actually. See if we can dish out more damage with that. There's her shield gun. And that's actually just damaged me right there. So I'm dashing around a lot to restore my health. I really should be rolling to strip away the what's it called? The slash procs and stuff like that they're applying to me as a rolling guard. But what I could also do is I could just walk up to her with the barge mode and then deal a lot of damage that way. There we go. She's downed. And then we just hold B. And that's going to finish her off. Now, if you had an ephemera, what you could do is you could actually convert her. You could sell that off to somebody for a lot of platinum. Depending on the weapon and ephemera, the lich will be very, very, very valuable. But that is more or less it. That's it done. You know, that's very simple. We just got to wait for the waypoint marker, the update, go back to our railjack, then go back to our ship. So I'm going to cut it here and show you guys back in the orbiter. All right, so that is it done. We got the ephemera, we got the Hound blueprint, and if we go to my inbox, you'll see that I've got myself the Tenet Tetra, which is electric damage. And what I'm going to do is I am going to equip my, what's it called? My new ephemera. If I can remember the name of it, it was under attachments. It is here. Which one was it again? I forgot the name of it already. I'm Papega. This one? It was this one. Might look better in another frame. That's what I think. But yeah, it's all right. It's cool. It's a free ephemera pretty much. But yeah, like the video if you liked it. Subscribe for more Warframe content. Check out the Patreon for early access to all my videos. Thank you guys for watching. And I'll see you guys. Oh, no, it looks killer. I'll see you guys in the next one.